I hope everyone's been doing excellent. I'm gonna try to see if I can find my own live. Give me just a second here to catch myself. All right. All right, I'll get it going. So, um, as I did my research for this reading, I came across a lot of energy about regarding truth. Like that, like this is the period where a lot of truth will be revealed. Um, because of the trust from previous phases, etc. And what's this today, November 2nd? So this reading is kind of like Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. The energy in and the moon cycle is going to be in Sagittarius. Um, Now that can oh, that's the time for you to focus on quiet contemplation, meditation, digging out past traumas, gaining insight into like the darker aspects of your of your pursuits or passions. I can't see what I wrote there. Um, Time right now for these few days, like Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, while we're in this new moon energy, to focus on like the leg energy. So if you go to the gym frequently or you're thinking about starting up like some new gym workout routine, this could help that way too. So it's saying the King of Cups energy is coming out. Might be a lot of self-love too, but just like focus on your liver, your hips, thighs, sacrum. So a lot of sacral energy, creative energy while you're in this contemplation phase. And then November 6th and 7th, which is Wednesday and Thursday, I wrote hair down your back. So it's kind of giving this energy of like, just, I was getting very much so like a spinal cord energy, just going from like where the sacral stops, but like all the way upwards of the spinal cord, through through the cranium area, is what I was getting. Um, and then that at that during that period of time, you can focus on arms, spinal cord, backbones, joints, knees, skin, hair, those type of things. And then November 8th and 9th, Friday and Saturday, ankles to knees, Achilles. A lot of breath work was what it said. It says, ask if it grows corn for you. So right now, a lot of people are in their harvest season, with respect to what they've been manifesting, building, or working towards spiritually, etc. So in that, we're told that in this new season right now where we're at, to be of course asking ourselves is, does this grow corn for me? Does this yield the crops that I would like to grow at this point in time? Because you're selecting seeds for your next growing phase. Not that you can't grow now. Things that you grow now will be more hardy type of um, things, like spinach. And so it's kind of, and I equate this with like the color relating to what you're manifesting. So a lot of people will be harvesting money that they've been manifesting, and setting intention for. Um, a lot of, if it was with respect to like finances, um, there's a lot of information that I'm going to share with you as well in here about. So I'm reading a couple different books, but The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and then this shamanic Egyptian astrology book, 444 on the clock. And I find a lot of insightful information that's kind of just like helping me put into words exactly what I'm trying to convey with my work. If you haven't already gotten an Excel spreadsheet that really helps you formulate like your business finances and goals, etc., or you don't have a financial planner or something like that, now is the time to be looking into that, finding everything that you need to really run your business smoothly, is what I'm hearing. Yeah, setting intention. Mm. We're entering a frost moon. So basically, the way the moon is working right now, we're in Sunday, starting tomorrow, we'll be in Sagittarius. Right now, we're still in Scorpio, but starting tomorrow, we'll be in Sagittarius. And so it goes from Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, and then all the way to Taurus. Taurus doesn't reach us, or we don't reach Taurus until we get to our next full moon. So our next full moon is going to be really big with respect to like seeing how our manifestations are growing, or like seeing how our harvest is coming along, like actually maybe even being able to get some tangible pieces of it, if that's not already happening, which I feel like it is. If you're in the same energy as me. Now, let's see. Okay. So the body is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. The mind focus is Wednesday, Thursday, and then the spirit focus. So like body, maybe set new routines, new regimens, try new things, maybe fast, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Even, take it how it resonates for you with respect to doing your body, mind, and your spirit energy. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, mental energy. Maybe even washing your hair, for men cutting your hair if you just recently cut all your hair off. Maybe going through the energy of what's that one guy that they talk about and his strength was in his hair. You know who I'm talking about. Look up that story, or kind of like maybe revisit that, see how it relates to you in some way, fashion. Not that like you cutting your hair off took away your strength or your power or anything like that, but that in a sense, like you relinquished, you let go of anybody having power over you. So it's kind of working a little bit differently because things have to. But anyway, and then spirit on Friday and Saturday. So that's more so like I think you're gonna get an opportunity to really let your hair down and like really just kind of live in this luxurious energy that I keep feeling over and over for the collective. Um, so some of the other things I was supposed to talk about. Let me pull it. Actually, let me get the description for this card that came out though, because it was the King of Cups, and I love this deck. This Garbage Pail Kids one. It's one of my favorite. All right. So for this one, the King of Cups is a calm, cool, and collected leader. You know what's so funny is this fell out in the pre-shuffle, this same exact card. And I can tell by the way that the description of the King of Cups is, because you expect that to be an air sign, but you're hearing cool, calm, and collected because it sounds like air, right? Cool, calm, collected. Anyway. But anyway. It says he rules with compassion, but like alligator, because this is an alligator, right? But like alligator, isn't afraid to bare his teeth when provoked. Keep an open mind when solving problems and dealing with complicated situations. Now isn't the time for ferocity. That was definitely a download too. It's like you're on the right track with things. What you can do now is that because you're no longer in a phase where people can affect you the same way as they used to, or with like trying to get one over on you in a sense or somehow like that. But essentially, you don't have to be as on guard. You can let people show themselves and say, "Oh, I see you," and then you can move on from there accordingly. You don't have to be, on this defense mode. I'm not saying let your guard down. I am saying that you don't have to be in an energy of feeling like you're in combat or battle, because everybody that's in your new phase are new to you as well. So you need to give them the opportunity. If you have any old people that are still around, you either have A, confirm that they should still be around, or B, I've already closed them off energetically, even if you may have to, like, let's say you entered a contract to work with someone on this job site for the XYZ period of time and you have to finish this out. Well, you can finish that out, but you're just not energetically intertwining with this person. Like, the things that they say no longer take any effect on you emotionally, and that's exactly how it should be. Should be. Anyway, so I don't know if this is coming up for someone, but I know this may be something that's on your spiritual journey you might struggle with, 10:10 on the clock, or just in general learning. Like, okay, so for me, it's been the bless you when someone sneezes, trying to know whether or not I should be like, where do I place my feelings? What is this? How did this come about? Is this spiritual? Is this religious? What is this, right? So I'm trying to dig into the bottom of that. But what I understood is if we take spirituality and things like that into play and we understand, and we can kind of, basically, the first time you respond to someone's sneezing, you can say to your wishes. So basically, wishing them well is what we're supposed to be doing, like wishing them good health, right? So I feel like maybe just like the first sneeze, say to your wishes, like to you, or figure out your own way. I personally say salud often, more than anything, but I think I'm gonna try to make a conscious effort because I want to be intentional with the communications, if that makes sense. But I feel like that's where a lot of people that have just started the spiritual journey, or people who are being like put through their own, people who are under judgment, are starting to realize the value and the power of words, and they're starting to take offense to them. Okay, so we're going to see both sides of this, basically the reverse and the current energy. And I love this like little tarot card, like, journal that I have, because it keeps the wheel here for me every single time, so I'm able to see like, the emotional wheel, and like be able to understand it that much quicker because it's right in front of me. But yeah, so right now I feel like, I mean, if you're a part of my collective, then we're in this kind of peaceful moment. Oh, that okay. So here are the things that were coming up in my regular life that were like resonating with respect to like messages and downloads for the collective. So I was having a conversation with one of my sons, and we were talking about the most valuable currency. And we were discussing, and I asked him, in your opinion, what's the most valuable currency? Because they think. And so one of my sons answered, happiness. Happiness. To him, happiness is the most valuable currency because it's not something that people can necessarily obtain with money. It doesn't necessarily come through other people, but it's something that everybody wants to obtain. And no matter who you are, where you are, no matter how much money you have or how much money you don't have, having that part, huge, right? As a result, my other son, threw out some things like peace. And so it was all of these high vibrational things, which is true. Um, but then I was talking to my other son because I have a child that's getting ready to enter college. And so in that conversation, we were discussing how, at this phase of life, he's actually getting ready to understand, adulthood in a different way than just the like imagination part of it. Like, oh, I can't wait to be a grown up so I can do this, so I can do that. So it's now kind of hitting home. And I feel like for the collective energy, it's coming down to this kind of like respect is earned, not given. And the collective is very aware of that, and they've earned all of their respect. And now it's time that it be given and received. They're in a very much acceptance and receiving mode, for the collective, because there's a need for all of these things that they've done without. So there's this huge need. So if it's like, for some people it is finances, for some people it is relationships, some people it's family life, some people it's a business, like it's for some people it's everything. Okay, so everybody just has to take it how it resonates. But for with the sneezing, I forgot that you're on that, huh? So with the sneezing, says to your wishes, to your loves, they last forever. And so I feel like if you even just can't like that, you just wish someone good health forever. That could be your one thing when you say, whatever it is that you decide to say after someone sneezes, because not a lot of people want to use the word bless you anymore once it becomes spiritual. So just something that I came across at the beginning of my walk. And I know we're all have different journeys, but they can seem similar because, healing is not linear. And I know I say that a lot, but that's because healing is not linear. So there are a lot of people at the end of one chapter and on to this new phase of understanding and enlightenment and consciousness of reaping the benefits of all the hard work, and then there's this other set of group who are they're just starting to do the work, but they may be healing the same part at the same time, just with respect to like, oh, everybody's learning the gift of gratefulness, let's just say it like that, like, oh, everybody's learning gratefulness right now. But in reality, it's more so with the moon cycles, looking at the negative and the positive emotions of each particular sign, and then where is it aspected in your chart too. Those things may be huge for some people. Some people may decide to, deep dive, but this is definitely a really good book. So first card is representing taking the first step. Okay, so that's what this King of Cups is. So I was supposed to pull 3 cards according to my notes when I was preparing for this. So that first card is like taking the first step. So taking the first step, all right. So a waiting state of mind, because there are a lot of great notes in this book for this reading here. It says waiting is a state of mind. Basically, it means that you want the future, but you don't want the present, right? And I can totally relate to that, because it's like, oh, I want the future. I want my son to go to college. I want him to graduate, but I don't want the present. Like, I don't want the, like, the whole like having to teach him. Well, I don't mind it, but it's kind of like there are certain things that you could, as a parent, like, oh, I have to make sure he knows how to do this, because I got to prepare him to do everything without me. So I have to prepare him to know when to go and rebuy his toiletries, because as my child, I just take care of it. I see it's getting low, I replenish it, right? So there's certain things that as a nurturing mother, or maybe even a helicopter mom, that I have to prepare him for, that I may have felt like I was more than likely definitely trying to shelter my child, but as a result, I may have, like, made it a little bit more work for myself and for him, possibly, as he's going to college, because now he has to figure out these things that are unfamiliar to him, that if I had pushed, more responsibilities on him. So I feel like that's part of it too, is the responsibilities for people, but it's like, yeah, but that respect is earned, not given, and it comes with those responsibilities, and you need to look at them similar as to like going to college, so to speak. So it's like, no, you're learning about a new whole, like, a whole new way of life, a way of living, right? That's what I was getting. But basically, so if you are in a state of mind where basically you want for the future, that you're not focused on the present, it's putting you in a reduced quality of life, because it's making you lose the present. So that's where I'm focused right now, and I believe my collective is as well. It's like, okay, I'm being in the present, but I'm also making sure that I'm putting aside whatever seeds I need to for my future as well. So it's not being hyper focused on something that's not in the now. Anyway, wherever you are, be there totally. So yeah, so that was very much a lot of the downloads too. It's like, see if you can catch yourself complaining about things, because when you're on this higher vibration, that is one of the things you want to, that's one of the emotions that you want to stay out of too, because it's a negative one, right? So see if you can catch yourself complaining in either speech or thought about a situation that you may find yourself in, or maybe what other people say about you, your surroundings, your life situation, or even the weather. To complain is always non-acceptance of what is. So complaining like, ugh, I deserve this already, and I need this, to come into my life. Well, yes, but to complain is not acceptance of what is. So accept what is, be happy in it, be grateful, right? Because that complaining carries an unconscious negative charge. Okay? Now, when you complain, you make yourself into a victim, and when you speak out, you're holding your power. Now, if you find your here and now intolerable and it makes you unhappy, which, we can relate, like, especially if you're in a divine union and you're waiting for a person, or you're waiting for, your manifestation to come to fruition, or you're building something and you know that it takes time to grow, all these things. If you find yourself here and now, if you find your here and now intolerable and it makes you unhappy, you have 3 options: to remove yourself from the situation, to change it, or to accept it totally. Now, those are the only choices you have if you want to take responsibility for your life. Like, let's just keep it 100. No excuses, no negativity, no psychic pollution, if you will, right? which is why I say no, focus on, you know, the reality that you want, but now we have to be in the current reality, but in the happiness and joy that we find in the future that we are planning for. To keep our psychic awareness clean. So keep your inner space clear. That's the top priority right now. If you take any action, mean it being like by leading or changing your situation, drop the negativity from it first, if at all possible. So, like, my negativity towards my son getting ready for college is that I have somehow, some way, shape, or form done him a disservice by sheltering him. But in reality, he has not faced a lot of the hard emotions that may have hardened his heart towards the outside world had that been the reality for him. I don't know. But you know, everybody knows how this stuff works for them. But like, you know, you have to take stock and inventory of what you're doing and remove the negativity from it. Um, and understand that any action is often better than no action, especially if you've been stuck in an unhappy situation for a long time. If it's a mistake, at least you learned something, and then in which case it's no longer a mistake, because if you learned something, well, it was a lesson, so it's no longer a mistake. And that honk of synchronicity, and that's what I love about the beauty of life, is because, like, wait a minute, if you can understand the lesson, you no longer have to like beat yourself over the head or punish yourself or feel any guilt about whatever it is, because, like, again, the whole Jesus died, yeah, no guilt here. All right, anyway, now this is something really huge too, because I think people get like so many things like misconceived when it comes to these tarot cards. But the card that I always call surrender, I don't know if it's the Hangman that I'm thinking about, but I think it is. It's either the Hangman, I think it's the Hangman, but it's about surrendering. So people need to understand that, like, surrendering is not a weakness. There is great strength in surrendering. And only a surrendered person actually has any spiritual power. Through surrender, you can free in self internally of the situation, and that's basically the only fight that really exists, right? Because it's our internal body that has to be well, like our internal, you know, our spirit has to be well, or else all the rest of us seems to fail, or will feel unrequited, unloved, unfulfilled, unvalued, all of these uns. Okay, we don't need these uns, right? It's unnecessary. But so basically, if there's nothing that you can do to change your here and now, so I get this. I get this from the perspective of the fact that, like, there have been certain situations where I was in my previous field of business and I didn't have the money. In real estate, you want to have some money walking into that line of business so that you can spend the money you need to make the money that you want, right? Because you have marketing, you have, you know, bringing things to potential clients, taking people out, getting to know people, all these different things that actually cost you money to do, which, you know, is great to know as you know, found, you know, form a business, but it's not something people always tell you. That was another thing too. It's like this world has become very much a world of gatekeeping or hoarding information. And it's like now people are trying to share, but it's like, we've become so far from that mindset of sharing. And that's the difficulty. But anyway, hopefully this is all changing things. But yeah, so you have those three options: to remove yourself, change it, or accept it. No excuses, no negativity, no psychic pollution. And if you remain stuck, you don't learn anything. So it's like, if you stay stuck, and that's probably the one most debilitating thing for me in a spiritual journey that I've ever experienced, is like, if I feel stuck, OMG, I'm going to do everything that I can to get unstuck. Like, that's just not, I don't live there. And I think that's a huge part of people who actually achieve certain levels of success, is their inability to be satisfied with, you know, those lower vibrational energies. Or, you know, guilt or shame, you know, or feeling like they're a failure. It's like, no, actually, I was successful at learning this lesson. So, no, you can't take that from me. Also, another way to stand in your personal power, too. My personal opinion. All right. Stress is caused by being here but wanting to be there, or being in the present but wanting to be in the future. The future. As you move, work, or run, do it totally. So that's what we're being called to do right now, is to do everything that we're doing, do it totally. Which is probably why it takes me a little bit more time to get to the readings lately is because I feel like, well, who is this resonating for? Are people learning? Because I know that what I actually do with respect to my spiritual business, it involves me sending you a spreadsheet. We're going to talk about your finances, your budgeting. We're going to talk about what time you wake up, what time you go to sleep, what type of lifestyle you live, the relationship with your children, the relationship with your parents. We're going to talk about everything, right? Because it's more than just who your ex is, right? There are all these other relationships that take precedence and focus and have priority, or that are taking the precedence and focus and priority that maybe shouldn't even, or mismanaging your energy with certain people, maybe putting in more where you shouldn't. Everybody gets it. But that's why you're in this period of your life, you are observing the seeds and looking and saying, oh, let me see the crops that this seed did from last year. Before I plant it, before I take it home, let me look at what the harvest is from those seeds being planted by another farmer previously. And you can find a multitude of information in that too, right? Sometimes it's the actual old farmer, and it's like, oh wow, I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to take the seed and cultivate it and grow it because it's been previously mishandled, and there's this whole exotic fruit that nobody knows about that I'm about to make. That was a past download that came back again recently, and I just get so many that I'm in the middle of pressing my hair and I get a download. I'm not stopping my hair. If I'm in the middle of making a cake, I'm not stopping the cake. To get your downloads, I'm sorry, people, but I get plenty. But they'll come back. So I always feel. But so observe your mind. Be in everything that you're doing totally. So as you move, work, run, whatever you're doing, bake a cake, do it totally. Don't stop for a download. Um, Now, does the past take up a great deal of your attention? Do you frequently talk about it, think about it? And is it positive or negative thoughts? Because essentially you want to switch those thoughts if you can't stop the thoughts, right? All right. Now, and verifying for yourself. So the verifying for yourself by observing those around you who have a strong tendency to hold on to the past. Because sometimes it's a seeping energy, because remember, all of these demons are spiritual. So they float around from different person to different person. Like somebody can literally, I always use the barista and like throwing your money back over the counter, because it can really ruin people's day, like sometimes. But that is negative energy, Um, Ooh, the inner purpose of your life's journey. I can see the truth of what you are saying, but I still think that we must have a purpose in our life's journey. Otherwise, we just drift. And purpose means future, doesn't it? How do we reconcile with living in the present? So that's what you're doing now. You're reconciling living in the present. And the past cannot survive in your present. But we already know that because it can't go with us to our future, right? So, yeah. Yeah. So we're really in this state of presence, and it's not what you think it is. It says you keep talking about the state of presence as the key. I think I understand it intellectually, but I don't know if I've ever truly experienced it. I wonder, is it what I think it is, or is it something entirely different? It's not what you think it is. You can't think about presence, and the mind can't understand it. Understanding presence is just being present. So for us intellectuals and those us thinkers, we're being asked not to think and just to be. Might be harder, right? But we don't want to be thinking or just being so much that we're flying by the seat of our pants, right? It's like committing to the tasks, if you will, that promote whatever it is that we're planning for. But without the conscious mindset of saying, oh, I'm doing this because I know in this next phase I have to. No, it's just I'm doing this because it benefits me now where I'm at. Oh, that's what I was saying. So there were periods of time where I didn't have the finances to do the things that I needed to do, that I know would grow for me the opportunities that I wanted to have. And so it's always very difficult in those phases to find that mindset of like, okay, I'm not going to focus on when I have an extra $400 to put towards marketing. I'm going to focus on what can I do to market myself now, right? or I'm not going to focus on, I have to wait till I hire a this or that. I'm going to start to look at all the different things that I might want them to take care of. So there's a way to be here and now, but also be in the proper alignment with your future too, right? Because without the present being purposeful, it doesn't have, it doesn't have a purpose. It just doesn't. Let me look in this other book, see what I wrote in here too. Set your intentions now. Um, ooh. So the second card, let me pull a second card because I just saw that. And so the first card is your mind. Mind is in the King of Cups energy. And I'll read that again. I'll go through them again really quickly before we finish. Taking the first step. So the first step is being in the King of Cups energy. All right. And then this next part I was talking about, as the container expands. As the container expands, more can be held. So as you expand your thought process or your acceptance of the now and the way you're viewing the now, like, oh, that was one of the things. My daughter was saying, well, I have to do this. And I was like, well, you should just switch the way you talk about it to actually switch the way you feel about it. Saying, oh, I get to do this now, because then knowing that you've taken care of it means that it's done, right? Which is also part of the chores that I'm giving to my teen children. It's like, oh, well, if you just go ahead and fold up all your clothes and put them into the drawer now, then you don't have to do it later on tonight when you've tired and finished playing your video games for the evening. Makes better sense that before you hop on the game, that you go and tackle that laundry for 30 minutes, right? So it's all about that prioritization. But this is the second card that came out, which is really, really lovely. Four of Wands. I'm getting a lot of like guarded, guided partnerships, unions, situations, a home life, a lot of basically really great things that are being kept cloaked was definitely the energy. Yeah. A lot of, and it's kind of one of those things like people are just going to have to rest their own minds about whatever the collective is doing, because it's literally none of their business. And for a lot of things, they will not know. They will not know. They just won't. They won't be aware of it. They won't be a part of it until it's revealed. Um, but the second card is, as the container expands, more can be held. So I feel like as the container expands with respect to your, well, let me pull out the four of Wands description from the actual book for it. This is getting juicy. I didn't do a lot. Of like looking into all of the descriptions. I just wanted to confirm that the descriptions for the cards were different than just the basics before I started to use it for this reading. All right. So our lovely Four of Wands. This card calls for celebration. So once you take that first move, you can feel confident in your celebration, or that's the energy that you'll be in, which is what we anticipate, right? We expect that our first initial movement, and that's also been the downloads too, though. It's like everything just keeps falling into place, and it's like even when you think you've messed up, it's like then it turns around. And it's like, oh no, wait a minute. Oh no, wait. Like that's what I've been getting. Is like, oh wait. It's like you're so ready to like take care of things and to get stuff done and to like and handle the challenge, that you're being met with like moments where it's like, oh okay, you start putting on your armor, and then you're like, oh wait a minute, oh we're not battling, because I fought you already, you're just here to bring me my shit, oh thanks, excuse my language, that's one of the things too, we're trying to get into a certain box. Watch your language. Anyway. So the Four of Wands here is called Hangin' Harriet. Okay? So Hangin' Harriet. This card calls for celebration. This is a great time to get together with friends, with the fiendish friends closest to you for a fun hangout session. Like Hangin' Harriet. Your friends have your back. Look back on everything you've accomplished and thank the people who helped you get to where you are today. So that's probably going to be the focus in this new, like building up to this full moon in Taurus, is focusing on just really making sure that you're making room for that. Because as the container open expands, more can be held. So I feel like you're going to get new friends. That's beautiful. Oh, that's another download that I got too. So for the part of the collective that people want to say you're an introvert and you don't know how to get out, you don't know how to have fun. I believe that that misconception has been totally like, it got derailed because, if you're like me, I can make a friend anywhere. I can go to Pilates and make 12 friends, right? Be invited to everybody's house for dinner and know about their kids and everything that's going on in their life, and I'm their new best friend, right? I can go out trick or treating and get invited to somebody's house for like the whole next week because that literally happened. But that's because that's the type of energy that we carry. We're real genuine people, and people can pick up on that, even if it's just a trick or treat in my costume with my baby, right? So just expect that because we've definitely been on that kind of like, who can I trust? Can I trust you? I don't know. So, um, but yeah, yeah, you're going to have a lot of people to celebrate with and be happy with because you're expanding that container, which is going to allow you to hold more. So I feel like it's just this whole big gambit of like truth that allows you to really like have like it says, card number 3 is a view of the big picture. You're seeing everything all together. But so it says basically on Friday, Saturday, November 8th and the 9th, a lot of breath work, uh, selecting those new seeds, because we're going into this big moon. This new moon is I think it's the frost moon. So it's kind of like whatever was hunted, whatever was stored up, etc., etc., has frozen. So it's one of those. I don't know. Like everything right now is set in stone. It's so set in stone, and it's literally just you enjoying this part of it while everything freezes and defrosts. I don't know. I'm trying. I'm really trying, y'all. Because some of these things I don't always understand. You know what I mean? Sometimes I just do not. Okay. All right. I wasn't sure about this cup. I wasn't sure about this card falling out because I was like, what? The 4 of Cups. But this is the view of the bigger picture. So the bigger picture is the 4 of Cups, but don't leave yet, okay? So in this one, the 4 of Cups is melting Milton. So it's Milton. These are very much tongue twisters. Milton. So saying you're being offered a lot of opportunities right now, and this card's advice is to consider them all carefully before acting. Didn't I say that with my little my little psychobabble about selecting the correct suits? Mm, mm. But anywho, so it says, yeah, and this card's advice is to consider them all carefully before acting. Don't get hot under the collar and make decisions impulsively. Taking some time to remove yourself from the situation and stew on it will give you the clarity you need to avoid becoming a messy puddle of regret later. So it sounds like I was saying, you have all of the everything. Like you've got all of the things for the big picture. You've just got to make sure that you are the guardian of your energy, not allowing any psychic pollution, right? That's going to cause you to be in the lower vibrations. And I just want to cover the vibrations really quickly. So there's this like line. Basically, the lower ones are in the area of surprise, fear, and anger. And those include the emotions of confusion, excitement, amazement. Those all come in surprise. There's fear, which includes insecurity, humiliation, and scared, being afraid, being a scared. And then there's anger, which includes being aggressive or mad or hurt, which I've always said that anger is a secondary emotion because somebody hurt you heard about something. You heard about something. That's why you're angry. But anyway, disgust, which includes the feelings of disapproval, a feeling of awfulness or disappointment. Hmm. So there's very few. It's just happy and surprise are the only kind of ones that really keep you in in that lighthearted querent. So the other one is sad, which also includes guilt, depression, and loneliness. Very interesting. So surprise and happy. So I guess maybe keeping maybe that's why when I gave that homeless guy, remember I was talking about the cookies, and he was like, surprise me. That is a higher vibration. No wonder why it made so much sense that I identified with it and enjoyed it, and felt it to be very appropriate for removing himself from that environment. Which what it means now for us in this phase is that we have to create the happiness here in this now, because we can't be like, oh, I can't wait till I wake up next to her and kiss those lips and this and that and this. Nope. You got to be in the here and be like, yep, everything that I'm doing right now is to make sure that, every morning when I kiss her lips, that we're protected, that we're safe, that, I got it, that this, that, the other, that we're prepared for each other, that we're prepared for what's next, so on and so forth. A lot of clarity, a lot of truth. But I feel like that's what's happening right now. It's just a lot of truth. I think that's it for this book. That's definitely it for this book. I want to see if there was anything else in this astrology book. Because I don't think okay. That's what it was for this one. So for this coming week, the energies that we're floating through. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we're in Sagittarius. Wednesday, Thursday, we're in Capricorn. And then Friday and Saturday, we're in Aquarius. So being in those, because we're traveling from one moon and from the new moon to the full moon. We'll be at half moon once these signs are finished. Whew. A lot. All right. I'm going to read the back from each of these signs in the order that we're going through them. So the first one is where your body should be, your physical aspects, where that should be focused with respect to Sagittarius energy in the astrological. So safely create a fire. Let's see. Overcoming fears. Yes. So this is the part where you're being, all the change is actually taking place. It says, whatever it is, allow yourself to feel the heat that's pressing upon you. Overcoming your fears, insisting that you take the first step towards change. Oh, yeah, that's right. I did kind of set that up. First step towards change. Write a prayer of supplication, asking for assistance. Ask to be bestowed upon yourself all the compassion so that you need, so that you can do what needs to be done. Convince yourself of your willingness, and change your words from change, basically end your prayer by saying, I will do thy will. So you're going to do what's needed for yourself, however it resonates for you. Okay. You can also write this down too and burn it, because you can also work with the different elements as well. Is Sagittarius a fire sign? Then I would do that. If it's a fire sign, I think it is. Okay. But anyway, definitely be keeping journals. Okay, as we move into Capricorn. Ooh, this is that part where I was saying, like, as the container expands, you more can be held. So in this one, it was talking about you gathering together different sizes of bowls or containers that fit inside one another. So, like, how you buy a set of bowls and they gradually get bigger or smaller. It's that kind of instance. It's saying um, you may you can make these bowls or gather them. You can just imagine them, and gather materials to put in the bowls, like sand, leaves, pine needles, gemstones, water, whatever, and then connect um, with the smallest container and fill it with what you've gathered. So I would say maybe even in your mental spaces, like your mental capacity with your mind, body, and spirit. So take them in those three aspects, and like fill each of those containers, your mind, your body, and your spirit, um, and allow yourself to take in more. Yeah. It says, be with the energies of this truth and reflect upon your own body. Yeah. Remembering that the etheric body is comprised of the fusion of the human and spiritual qualities, because they all have to work together, right? So imagine the energy that you need and you want surrounding you. And then, notice things like, what does it look like? Does it have a color, a texture, a sensation? For me personally, when I focus on this, it's a fire. I see fire in this energy. What is this sign? This is Capricorn, though. Interesting. Okay. And then we'll move into Aquarius when we get to Friday and Saturday. I get an energy of like very much partying though too, because I keep hearing just got paid Friday night. I hear Friday, Saturday, like weekend energy, just giving like a big vibe. So maybe that's what you're gonna feel this coming weekend, and that's more spirit. So I could see that being spirited energy too, so to speak. And a few of that bigger picture, like we read in this Four Cups energy. So, with that being said, is there anything else from that Capricorn? Because I feel like that was it for Capricorn. Oh, okay. It says, tune into the intelligence of your energy and ask um, your highest self, like, to help you see how you've expanded so far, and to continue to help you to expand. And then it says also notice if your physical or emotional body is struggling to integrate the intense new energies, um, and ask yourself if you're really ready to accept the growth in a really balanced flow, because that's what you need. You need to balance out all of that, right? It says, how much spiritual energy can your body hold at this time? Can you hold more than you were able to hold a year ago, 5 years ago, 15 years ago, or has your capacity lessened? As you fill your bowls, hold awareness both as a creative principle and as an organizing principle. Both reflective on that information. So that's interesting too, to like say, okay, because you may be preparing yourself for what you need, because I what I'm understanding is like you're getting what you need and you don't even know that you need it. Like, you know that you need it, you know that you want it, you know that you desire it, you know that you deserve it, but you don't realize how much you actually need what's coming in next. And this is a part of you being ready to say, oh, I need it. That was the download. Okay. So focusing on all the reasons why you want what's coming next, what you're manifesting, all of the reasons that what it is that you don't have here, but understanding that it's like, oh, okay, but being grateful for the here so that you can appreciate what's coming next. So when you just being that grateful energy, I guess is where we're going to be at, reflecting and journaling about your experience. Yeah. This is awesome because it doesn't feel like a lot of work. It just feels like enjoying the process kind of energy. And then the last phase is Ptah and Aquarius. So saying go to a place where you can have a view of a big picture. The top of a tree, a mountain, a rooftop, somewhere with a large vista. If this is not possible, look at a picture of the grand view. Look at it for something that gives you a sense of spaciousness, of light and air. Air energy. Breathe deeply. Oh, I did put that was a part of the breath work, was for those 2 days too. With each breath, focus on opening your heart of compassion and wisdom. When you feel that your heart has opened, ask for a vision of the new earth as it is seen from your soul's perspective. Receive what comes to you, whether it is small or large, and ask why this vision is coming to you. What can be your part in birthing the new age? It says perhaps something personal has come to you. Perhaps you need to write a letter to your congressman or sign a petition. Perhaps you need to join a social campaign or write a letter to the editor. Whatever ideas come to you, pass them through your heart as if the heart is a container and ask yourself, does this grow corn for me? If it does, it will feed other people. If it does not, let it drop back and dissolve. And continue until something rises up from your heart that really wants to be born through you, regardless of how small or large. Bring it up from your heart and up into your throat and give it a voice. Because something that you know in your heart is true. Now you need to speak it and sound it into an affirmation. It's got a little deep. I don't even know if we're going to do all of this. Deepness. Teach me to go reading books Saturdays. Anyway, I think I'm gonna go watch a movie now. Go dissolve into a sofa somewhere with something sweet or salty. I hope that this has been helpful or insightful in some way, shape, or form. So throughout the week, King of Cups, Remain calm, cool, and collected. You rule with compassion, so don't let nobody tell you any different. You made all the right decision. So you know what to do when you are provoked, but you are in the process of keeping an open mind when you're solving problems. So like if you're like me and you be like, I'd be suspicious that my kids be messing with stuff and like touching stuff and moving stuff around. And so I'd be like, I know Sydney had that such and such. I know she had my such and such. And then I'll find it somewhere that like I would have put it. And so it's kind of like that energy too. Like don't set yourself up for being worried about things that are not even going to be processed. Again, we're in the here. We're grateful for here too, even though we're not where we're going, which is still where we're going. All right, that second one was the Four of Cups. A lot of cup energy too. But that Four of Wands brought in a lot of passion. So that Four of Cups, Milton. A lot of opportunities right now. Consider them carefully. Don't get hot under the collar or make any decisions impulsively. Take time to remove yourself from the situation and stew on it. Let it sleep. Let it sleep. That's what I always do. I always say, oh, I'll sleep on that. And then sometimes you have to also like sometimes you do have to go in to get the information that you need to sit and think too. So don't be afraid of doing that. Yeah, it says taking some time to remove yourself from the situation or stew in it will give you the clarity you need to avoid becoming a messy puddle of regret later. Yeah, so looking into things doesn't hurt. Is what is the message that I'm trying to get out for you. Okay, thank you. And then the Four of Wands. So you got 2-4 energies. And then this is it. Ooh, wee. Okay, there we go. It's like it's taking forever. And then that Four of Wands, Hanging Harriet. This calls for a celebration. A great time to get together with your fiendish friends, your closest to you, fun hanging out session. Even maybe the people that you plan to go into business with or to pursue things with. Like maybe it's time to connect more with them and just have like a hanging out session. To kind of maybe look back and say like, oh, tell me about, to even learn about the person's past experiences and lessons. Maybe there's something, some message and a lesson that somebody else has learned for you. You never know where conversing leads to. That's what I'm understanding here. All right. I don't think that I have anything else for the collective. So I hope that this has been helpful and insightful in some way, shape, or form. I want to do one of these, but I don't because I was trying to save these for the astral readings. Yeah. I'm going to just keep those for the astral readings. And I feel like this is sufficient, though. I don't feel like there's anything else. But I'll still pull one more because I feel like it's a pressing energy towards me. Uno más. I want to see there's all these different cards in. Okay, I'm going to just take it. Whatever flies out. Because there are cards in here that don't belong. That don't have a part of this deck. Seeing God. Those who see God in all things, and in all things see God, are never lost in God, nor is God ever lost to them. Lamp of knowledge. So it sounds like you're in this great space of wisdom and like gaining more and all the rest of that. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the intelligence by which they can attain me. Out of compassion for them dwelling in their hearts, I destroy the darkness of ignorance with the lamp of knowledge. So I feel like, yeah, the collective is aware. You have the full knowledge at this point to know the difference between the dark and the light, and then what has precedence for you in your life at this point. And this one is 3 modes. There are 3 modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Though the living being is imperishable, he is bound in the body by these 3 modes. Goodness, passion, and ignorance. Ooh. And then the Master of Mystics. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will always be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. I hold this to be true. And I'm going to end it there because that was what I was saying at the beginning, was the truth is what's actually being revealed right now in this moon cycle as we go from our new moon to our full moon. I'll catch you in the next one. Later.